All right, first sheet we're looking at is quiz review number 2. All right, first you want to graph the parent graph. The parent graph on these 3 problems is based off of an absolute value of x. Okay, we learned last week that's a V right in the middle. All right, so go ahead and draw that. All right, next. Look at number 1, you always start in the back and we have to name the transformation. So plus 3 is up 3. Remember, you flip the sign on whatever's inside the brackets or parentheses. So that's really a -2. If you move it across the equal sign, it becomes a -2. So that means left 2. And a minus in front of the problem means we got to flip it or reflect it. But instead of going up, it's going to be going down. So we'll just say a flip. All right, now let's graph the change. Up 3, left 2. And I got to flip it. We draw a regular size, but we flip it. All right, next, 2. Start in the back again. So up 1, right 3. Now it's got a minus and a fraction. All right, well the minus makes it flip, and the fraction, remember, makes it compress. And when it compresses, it gets fatter. All right, so up 1, right 3. Got to flip it and compress it, so it's got to be really wide. All right, number 3. Down 2. I don't have to move it right or left on this one because it doesn't have a number inside the bracket. And if there's a number in front of it, fractions make it compress. A number that's an integer, not a fraction, makes it stretch. We draw it really skinny. Now we didn't have to flip it because we didn't have a negative. All right, that's 1, 2, and 3. All right, so when you get one like number 4, remember, if you can factor the top, you got to go ahead and factor it. So that's x and x. Factors of 12 is 4 and 3. Now, why can't we use 6 times 2? Well, because 4 minus 3 gives you 1. 6 minus 2 gives you 4, so that one's not going to work. And most of the time, it's the factors closest together anyway. 4 minus 3 will give you 1. All right, these 2 mark out. I've got x minus 3 left over. Graph that by rise over run. Up 1 over 1 is our slope. There's our hole. Or sorry, there's our line. Now we got to find our hole. The hole comes from what you crossed out. So we crossed out x plus 4. Move it over. That's -4. So, let's see, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Follow it down. There's your hole. All right, number 5, to find the VA, that's the easy part. Just take the bottom and set it equal to 0. Move that over so it's at -2. So we need a dotted line at x equals -2. And remember to draw this in a color. All right, the HA is a little different. You got to look at your exponents. We don't even have an x up top, but I do have x1 in the bottom. When it's like that, an x on the bottom, no x up top, it's automatically y equals 0. All right, hopefully everybody remembers how we plug in our numbers. 2 on the right, 2 on the left. 2 on the right is -1 and 0. 2 on the left is -3 and -4. All right, so I'm going to plug in -1. I get -3. Plug in 0, I get negative 1.5. Plug in negative 3, that'd be negative 3 on top, negative 1 on the bottom, that's positive 3. So we can go ahead and assume that's going to be positive 1.5. If it's got a pattern, go ahead and use it. So negative 1, negative 3, 0, negative 1.5. Negative 3 up 3, negative 4 up 1.5. There you go. All right, so the VA, set that equal to 0, move it over. That's negative 1 over 2. So at negative 1/2, we need a dotted line. All right, the HA, check your exponents. All right, well look, last problem, we had an X on the bottom, didn't have one on top, that's Y equals 0. This time, the exponents are equal. So when that happens, you divide the numbers in front of the X's. You divide the coefficients. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. All right, to finish it up, you do the same step. Pick two numbers on the right, we'll pick 0 and 1. Two numbers on the left, we'll pick negative 1 and negative 2. Plug them in your calculator, get 4 answers and graph them. Y'all can do it. All right. 7. All right, 7, 8, and 9. You follow the same rules that you followed on 1, 2, and 3, except instead of a V, all right, these will be parabolas. All of them. You start off by drawing a parabola right in the middle. If you need help on this, get somebody that sits around you to help you quickly, or maybe we can find somebody in class to show it on the board. All right, so this one's basically separated into 3 separate problems. First, when you see x plus 4, it's like y equals x plus 4. Just graph it by rise over run. So I go up 4, up 1 over 1. Let's do that again. Up 1 over 1. So these are all dots. All right, so before you draw your line, look at this part. This shows you go to negative 2 with an open circle right there. I went to negative 2, followed it up where I hit my line, open circle. Now it says greater than. The numbers greater than are on that side, or think of it this way. The arrow on the inequality, the point, points that way. That is the side you keep. Erase the other side. That's your red inequality. That's how you graph it. Let's do the next one. All right, based on how we did 1, 2, and 3, you should know this is a V. Absolute values of V right in the center. All right, so this says open circles from negative 2 to positive 2. Negative 2 here's already got an open circle. Positive 2 now. There we go. Erase all the other dots. You only use what is right here. Last one. This y equals negative x plus 4. So I go to 4 again. There's already a point there. And this time it's negative 1. So I go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. My line runs that way. This says go to positive 2, open circle. Already there. And show where it's greater than. So we show that greater than is this way. The arrow points that way. That lets you know which side to keep. All that is your graph on number 10.